Teddy Roosevelt had a dear friend, a naturalist by the name of William Beebe. Each night before going to bed, the two of them would go out and look up at the heavens. They would look for a little dot of light around the constellation of Pegasus. When they both found it, they would begin to chant a mantra which they had devised to make themselves feel humble. This is the spiral galaxy of Andromeda. It is as big as our Milky Way. It is one of 100 million galaxies. It consists of 100 billion suns, each larger than our sun. Then Teddy Roosevelt would look over at his friend and say, "Now I think we are small enough. Let's go to bed." How small and insignificant we can feel in the face of the grandeur of God's creation. Jesus' three closest friends were taken up to a high mountain where they were privileged to witness the glory of God. How did they react? Well, their reaction came in three very different stages. First, they slept through it. They didn't even realize they were in the presence of God's glory. Their second reaction was also understandable. They were afraid. In the presence of God's glory, don't we all feel small, insignificant, unworthy, afraid? Finally, they came to the point where they could say, "How good it is to be here." Yes, they were afraid. Yes, they sensed their smallness, their sinfulness, but they also saw that in the presence of love, in the glory of God, all that disappears. They realized that in the presence of God, their smallness had become greatness. Their insignificant lives took on a wonderful meaning. Their sinfulness became goodness. For love forgives, love elevates, love makes us strong and godlike. Are our reactions to God's glory any different from theirs? Each of us beholds it every day, and most of us sleep through it, not even noticing the splendor all around us. We look at the wonders of creation and don't see the hand of the Creator. How can you look at the Grand Canyon and not be awed at God's creative power? How can you look at the waves of the sea and not see God's directing hand? How can you look into a simple, tiny flower and not see all the perfection of creation right there in your hand? But we sleep through it and don't even notice. Then when we do notice the grandeur around us, we are afraid. Every time an earthquake comes our way, we feel afraid and helpless at the awesome power. When out at sea in tempestuous waters, we become filled with fear. Oh, it's a glorious sight, but a terrifying one. Just watch the movie The Perfect Storm. Or if you have ever been to Switzerland and seen the grandeur of those snow-covered mountains, you are in awe. But if you see that snow collapse and roll down in an avalanche, you cannot help but feel intense fear. Like the apostles, we are filled with fear in the presence of God's grandeur. But finally, we too come to the point where we can say how good it is to be here. For in the presence of God, in the presence of love, fear melts away. Our littleness becomes greatness. Our sinfulness becomes holy. And our tiny, insignificant lives take on a whole new meaning when we immerse ourselves in God. How good it is to be here. Let us ascend that mountain with the Christ. Let us not sleep through the wonders of the glory around us. Let us not remain in fear of the awesomeness, but allow love to make us whole, to raise us up and elevate us to a whole new level. We are able to call God our Father because we are of the same stuff as God. How good it is to be here. Go out with Teddy Roosevelt. Look up at those magnificent heavens and see the wonders of God. Feel little as he did. Look all around you and see God's glory. Even more, look inside of you and see that glory. How good it is, Lord, to be here with you.